Hey, anime fan! Let's dive into the wild world of anime genres. Some genres are actual genres, while others are more about demographics. Either way, these categories help us navigate the vast ocean of anime, even if some distinctions are kind of blurry. So give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and let's dive into each of them together. Here's the lowdown. Shonen. Shonen may not technically be a genre, but a demographic aimed at young boys. However, shonen is still widely used as a genre label because it often includes epic, action-packed adventures. For example, Summertime Render and Chainsaw Man both fall under shonen, but their vibes and focuses are completely different, proving this category's flexibility. That said, it's more specifically battle shonen like Demon Slayer or Dragon Ball Z that defines the genre fans often mean by shonen, featuring jaw-dropping battles and iconic heroes. Seinen. Seinen, on the other hand, is another demographic that instead targets older male audiences with mature, darker themes. Classics like Berserk and Oshi no Ko show just how intense this category can get, diving into revenge, warfare, and the gritty parts of life, and also prove that seinen can have female protagonists too. Did you know that? Leave in the comments below. Shoujo. For both counterparts, we would have shoujo, another demographic-based label, more than a genre, aimed at young girls instead of young boys. Shoujo often overlaps with magical girl shows, where girls wield superpowers, as in Sailor Moon. This demographic, frequently called genre, could also include classics like Iwaresa's Fushigi Yugi and the more recent Netflix production My Happy Marriage, which appeal to all ages with romance and drama. Josei. This time, on the other hand, we have josei, which is aimed at adult women and brings a mature tone to the romance and drama plots. Classics like Chihayafuru or Paradise Kiss dive into real-life challenges with a touch of sophistication that makes josei a rewarding genre for mature audiences. Slice of life. Slice of life is all about capturing the simple, everyday moments, but don't dismiss it as boring. This genre shines when combined with others like comedy or romance, as in My New Boss is Goofy, showcasing the joy and warmth in working life small details. Another great example would be Clannad, and especially its sequel, Clannad After Story, which are cornerstones of the slice of life genre. Romance. As I mentioned the romance genre, let's dive into it. Romance anime often builds suspense around whether a couple will ever get together, focusing on the will they, won't they tension that keeps fans on edge. Titles like Karakano, which I could not stop watching when I first got my hands on it decades ago, or Rumiko Takahashi's classic Maison Ikkoku or Nana, one of the most popular anime romances of all time, explore relationships each in a unique way, showing how deep emotions can go. Comedy. Of course, we have comedy. Who would pass on a good laugh? The comedy genre is almost everywhere, paired with other genres or demographics. Still, while some people think anime humor can be hit or miss due to cultural differences, there are gems like One Punch Man, which nails the repetitive single punchline gag, and that is almost unquestionable. Almost.
I made it. Has watching a season of One Punch Man opened my eyes to their art? No, it hasn't.
Another more recent could be Mashle, Magic Muscle. Isekai. Now, we have the probably most popular genre recently, Isekai. This genre revolves around characters transported to fantastical worlds, often by magic or reincarnation. Despite its recent growth in popularity, and even the popularization of the name itself, The concept has deep roots, think Alice in Wonderland, and had been explored many times in the past with titles like Magic Knights Re-Earth or Inuyasha. However, it was hits like Sword Art Online that brought a modern twist to the genre and made it into mainstream popularity. If you like this genre, I would suggest you check out Mushoku Tensei if you haven't yet. It is a fever all around the world. Fantasy. Speaking of fantastic worlds, fantasy is definitely one of the biggest genres out there, covering every fantastical theme imaginable. Fantasy anime offers everything from classic high fantasy, like Hunter x Hunter, to dark fantasy, like Frieren, or historical fantasy, like Attack on Titan, which draws inspiration from real conflicts. This genre pairs with almost every other genre and demographic. You may have fantasy anime like Solo Leveling or My Neighbor Totoro, both completely different, but still fantastic. Pun intended. Whether it's historical or magical, without a doubt, it is one of the most beloved genres. Tensei. And I also had mentioned Mushoku Tensei, which is an isekai, but also tensei, a word that means reincarnation. Although wildly popular, tensei is actually a subgenre in anime and manga where the protagonist gets a second shot at life. Usually in a new world, becoming also an isekai or body. I decided to add it to this list to help clarify that. Whether they're transported to a fantastical realm, reborn with memories of their past life, or even reincarnated as unlikely beings. Think slime, spider, or sword. These characters bring skills, regrets, and dreams from their past lives to fuel their new adventures. Rooted in themes of redemption, discovery, and reinvention, tensei appeals to anyone who's wondered what they'd do with a fresh start. Sci-fi. Default text sci-fi genre transports viewers to futuristic worlds brimming with advanced technology and bold explorations of humanity's potential. Among its standout titles is Cowboy Bebop, hailed by fans as one of the greatest anime of all time, with an iconic opening sequence that consistently ranks in the top 3 across anime intros. The series even inspired a recent, if controversial, adaptation by Netflix. Sci-fi anime once dominated the 80s and 90s thanks to classics like Ghost in the Shell, with a film adaptation starring Scarlett Johansson, and Akira, which introduced many fans to the gritty allure of cyberpunk. More recently, cyberpunk edgerunners has reignited that neon-soaked thrill, blending retro charm with modern animation flair. Mecha. Mecha is one of the most popular and marketable sci-fi subgenres, and one of the oldest too. It takes sci-fi to a towering level with giant robots that are later miniaturized and sold by millions all across Japan and overseas until this day. The subgenre then splits into 2 other main subgenres, super robots and real robot. The first dominated the market, including in Brazil and the US in the decades of 80 and 90, around the time when Mobile's Suit Gundam brought a more realistic take to the genre and overtook it. Later on, one of the most worshipped anime of all time, Evangelion, revived the love for super robots. Nowadays, modernish titles like the Gears series and Iron-Blooded Orphans show mecha's enduring legacy. Sports. Sports are intrinsically attached to the culture of a people, often even influencing or defining it in many aspects. The sports anime genre is an excellent example of that. Anime like Slam Dunk, which is worth saying has a fantastic soundtrack, helped popularize basketball in Japan, while Captain Tsubasa did similar important work for soccer. This genre blends passion, teamwork, and competitive spirit. From realistic takes, like Haikyuu, which also helped popularize men volleyball in Japan, to superhuman feats in Kuroko no Basket, these series inspire while delivering some of the most intense moments in anime. If you're up for something modern, check out Blue Lock. Music. Speaking of things that go together and sometimes even define culture, we have music. This anime genre focuses on the character's passion for performing and creating music. Instead of musical-style breaks, anime like K-On! And Your Lie in April give us a look into the lives of aspiring musicians and the effort behind their craft, much like sports anime, but with music at the center. Besides Nana, which I already mentioned in this video and definitely is worth watching, if you like fantasy and battle themes but also love music, even though this title is not considered technically a music anime, you may want to check out Talked Up, Destiny, and see for yourself if this mix is to your taste. Ecchi. Ecchi brings in the fan service, featuring moments of sexual humor and suggestive content that bend the plot in funny or, ahem, memorable ways. While it doesn't focus solely on romance, it's often found in genres like action and comedy, adding an extra spice to the mix. If you are interested, there is an updated list of 10 top Ecchi anime on this channel. Go check it out after this video. Harem. Keeping it hot, the harem genre usually follows one protagonist surrounded by multiple love interests, often leading to comedic and romantic situations, more often than not incurring in fan service. One of the most important titles in this genre is Love Hina, which has helped popularize it even overseas. There is also the reverse harem, where a female protagonist attracts multiple suitors. And if you want to try something recent, you may like Quintessential Quintuplets or The Cafe Terrace. Mystery and psychological. I grouped mystery and psychological genres for both bring a different thrill, focusing on intense storylines and mind-bending concepts that challenge viewers' perceptions, leaving viewers questioning every motive. Death Note is probably the most well-known example, with even a Netflix adaptation with the actor William Dafoe playing Ryuk. Whether it's solving crimes or diving into the mind's depths, these genres showcase anime's power to keep you on the edge of your seat. I would definitely recommend watching Death Note, the anime, not Netflix's version, but if you are looking for something fresher, you might want to try Nier Automata. Supernatural. Often, the mystery genre overlays with the supernatural, a genre that delves into realms beyond the ordinary, where spirits, demons, and mystical forces collide with the human world. It's a place where the boundary between life and death blurs, and characters are often gifted or cursed with abilities that defy explanation. Death Note itself is an example of this blend, while other anime, such as Jujutsu Kaisen, combines it with action, creating a world where sorcerers battle malevolent spirits. Supernatural anime usually go even further, exploring complex moral themes, the nature of power, and the consequences of meddling with forces beyond human control, offering viewers both eerie thrills and emotional depth. A good example of that would be Mob Psycho 100. Horror. Keeping a similar vibe, the horror genre in anime dives deep into fear, suspense, and the darker sides of humanity, delivering thrills that stay with viewers long after the screen goes dark. Series like Tokyo Ghoul capture the essence of horror, blending psychological torment with visceral action as it follows Kaneki's terrifying transformation into a half-ghoul, half-human creature forced to navigate a violent underworld. Through haunting visuals and intense storytelling, horror anime often explores themes of survival, identity, and the unknown lurking just beneath the surface. Other good examples I would recommend for this genre would be Parasite and Another. Adventure. Last, but certainly not least, the adventure genre stands out as one of the most beloved and enduring in the world of anime. With its promise of thrilling quests, vibrant worlds, and unforgettable characters, adventure anime invites viewers to journey alongside their heroes. One Piece, A global phenomenon, exemplifies this genre with its epic tale of pirates, camaraderie, and the relentless pursuit of dreams. And it's recently garnered renewed attention with a Netflix live-action adaptation. Other iconic series like Hunter x Hunter and Made in Abyss also capture the essence of adventure, immersing audiences in rich narratives filled with exploration and discovery. Through their thrilling escapades, adventure anime often delves into themes of friendship, perseverance, and the transformative power of the journey itself. From sci-fi battles to heartwarming everyday stories, these genres show anime's infinite variety. So go ahead, explore these unique styles, and you'll find something for every mood, taste, and imagination. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our latest anime recommendations. Share your thoughts and which of these titles you're more excited about in the comments below. Happy watching, and see you in the next video.